Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Mishnah Minutes. In this video we will be learning Mishnayos Berachos Perek Gimel, Mishnah Hey. The learning of this Mishnah has been dedicated by my in-laws, Rabbi and Mrs. Rosenblatt, as a schus for the entire extended Rosenblatt mishpacha. Everyone should see much mazel and bracha in their lives. So, in the previous Mishnah, we learned the halacha of a balkari. We spoke about the Takanas Ezra, where Ezra decreed that a balkari, a man who experienced an emission of semen of any kind, is not allowed to speak words of Torah. And according to the Tanakama, not only is he not allowed to speak words of Torah, he's also not allowed to daven. This Mishnah continues on the same theme, and again, it goes according to the Shita of the Tanakama from Mishnah Daled, that the balkari is both not allowed to speak words of Torah, nor is he allowed to daven. So the Mishnah begins, Haya Oimed B'Tfila. If the balkari forgot that he was a balkari, and he started to daven Shemona Esrei, which he wasn't supposed to do, but now he's already davening. So Haya Oimed B'Tfila. If he is standing and davening Shemona Esrei, V'nizkar Shahu balkari. And now he remembers that he's a balkari. Lo Yafsik Elo Yikatzer. The Tana says that he should not interrupt his saying of the Shemona Esrei. He shouldn't stop saying Shemona Esrei. Elo Yikatzer. Rather, he should say the Shemona Esrei in an abridged version. The Mefarshim explained what should he do. So let's take, for example, the bracha of Ata Chaynein La'adam Das. Instead of saying Ata Chaynein La'adam Das or Malamed Le'enosh Bina, he should just say Ata Chaynein La'adam Das. You, the Rebbeinu Shalom, are the one who graces a person with wisdom, with knowledge. Ata Chaynein La'adam Das. Baruch Ata Hashem Chaynein Hadas. So he says the beginning of the bracha and the end of the bracha. Refa'enu Hashem. Hashem, you should heal us. Baruch Atah Hashem, Refei Chaylei Amo Yisrael. So he's only going to say the opening of the bracha and the closing of each bracha. Now, the reason the Tana says this is because we know that davening, a person is coming to the Rebbeinu Shalom and asking the Rebbeinu Shalom for his needs. Like the lashon of the Gemara, Tefillah is a rachamim. Tefillah is asking the Rebbeinu Shalom for rachmanis, for mercy. And a person is coming to the Rebbeinu Shalom and begging for his needs. Over there, we are mekel, we're lenient on the balkari, and we say, even though really you should not have started davening in the first place, but since you already started, we're going to allow you to finish in an abridged version. The Mishnah continues. Now, before we continue the Mishnah, we should just remind everyone, back in Perek Aleph Mishnah Beis, we spoke about the proper zman of the Kriya Shema Shel Shachris, when a person is supposed to say the Kriya Shema Shel Shachris. We had a machlokes. We had the Shita of Rebbe Eliezer, who said that we could start saying Kriya Shema in the morning when somebody could tell the difference between the white strings on his tzitzis and the tchela strings, and he has to finish by Netzach Hama. He has to finish by sunrise. So according to Rebbe Eliezer, you have a very small window of opportunity. You must say Kriya Shema by Netzach Hama. Now we paskin like Rabbi Yeshua, who argued on Rebbe Eliezer, and says that we have until the end of the third hour of the day to say Kriya Shema. Now, while it's true that we paskin like Rabbi Yeshua, it has always been the custom of the Vasikin to say Kriya Shema by Netzach Hama. That's why even nowadays we have Vasikin Minyonim that start davening before sunrise. They hit Kriya Shema by sunrise, and then, well actually, they hit Kriya Shema a little bit before sunrise, and they start davening Shemona Esrei right by Netzach Hama, right by sunrise. So it's always been the minig of the Vasikin to say Kriya Shema before Netzach Hama. So the Mishnah is talking about somebody who has that minig. The Mishnah says, Yorad Litvoil. Let's say a person is a balkari. So, according to the Tanakama in Mishnah Daled, the balkari cannot say Kriya Shema. This balkari wants to be able to say Kriya Shema, and he wants to be able to say Kriya Shema before Netzach Hama, like the Vasikin. Yorad Litvoil, if he goes down into the mikveh to be tovel, Im Yachal La'alois, if he has enough time so that he could come up out of the mikveh, Ulehiskasois, and to cover himself up. After all, he can't say Kriya Shema while he's unclothed, so he has to cover himself up. So if he has enough time to come up out of the mikveh and to cover himself up, v'likrois, and then to say Kriya Shema, ad shaloi tanei tzachama, before the sun will rise, then Yale, he should come up out of the mikveh, v'yiskasa, and he should cover himself up, v'yikra, and he should say Kriya Shema before Neitzachama. V'im lav. But what if he doesn't have enough time to do all this? It's almost Neitz. Then, yiskasa b'mayim, he should cover himself up with the water. So this person is by the mikveh, it's almost time for Neitzachama. He has time to actually go into the mikveh and immerse himself in the water. But now he does not have enough time to come out of the mikveh, get dressed, and say Kriya Shema. So what should he do? He should stay in the water. He should keep his lower body immersed in the water. So the lower part of his body, his private parts, are immersed in the water, and his upper body is not. And he should say Kriya Shema in that way, because by doing that, his lower body, his private parts are covered, so he's allowed to say Kriya Shema. Also, since his upper body is not immersed in the water, where his private parts are, there is a separation between his heart and his private parts. That's the halacha. There always has to be some form of separation between a person's heart and a person's private parts when he davens. So now, again, his lower body is immersed in the water, his upper body is out of the water. In that way, we allow him to say Kriya Shema so that he could fulfill the custom of the Vasikin. Aval, lo yiskasa, but this does not work. He should not cover himself. Lo b'mayim hara'im, not if the water is rancid. V'lo b'mei hamishra, and not with water that was used for the soaking of flax. The Gemara, the Mishnah always uses mei hamishra, water that was used to soak flax, and as an example of very smelly water. I never experienced it. I never saw water that was used to soak flax, but apparently it does not smell good. So, he can't cover himself with rancid water or mishra, smelly water. That doesn't work because even though he might be covered, he can't say Kriya Shema in the presence of smelly water. We learn this out from the pasuk, V'haya machanecha kadosh. Your camp has to be kadosh. It has to be sanctified. When a person wants to speak words of Torah or tefillah, any mili shebekdusha, if somebody wants to speak words that have kedusha, he needs a machanecha kadosh. He needs a sanctified camp. You have to say it in a clean place. So you can't say Kriya Shema in smelly water. Now, the Gemara actually says that before the next phrase of the Mishnah, it's chesure mechsera. There are actually some words missing. The next phrase of the Mishnah is referring to somebody who is in the presence of meraglayim. He's in the presence of urine. So the Mishnah says, you're not allowed to say Kriya Shema. You're not allowed to say Kriya Shema or Tefillah. You're not allowed to say Kriya Shema or any mili shebekdusha in the presence of urine. Ad sheyatil l'saychan mayim, until you pour clean water into the urine to be mevatalit. You have to nullify the urine in order to say a mili shebekdusha, in order to say Kriya Shema or Tefillah or any other mili shebekdusha in the presence of the urine. The Mefarshim say, how much water do you have to add to the urine? You have to add a revius of water, approximately somewhere between 2 ounces to 4 ounces of water, into the amount of urine that a person usually passes at one time. Now this holds true even if the urine does not smell. If the urine smells, then you would have to add enough water to take away the odor. It would be no better than mayim haroim or me'amishra. If the urine smells, you can't say Kriya Shema even if you add water to it until you get rid of the smell. But even if the urine does not smell, you're not allowed to say Kriya Shema in the presence of the urine until you pour clean water in it to nullify it. V'kama yarchik mehem umin hatzaya. How far does a person have to distance himself from urine or from excrement if he does not have water to add to the urine? or if he's dealing with solid excrement, how far does a person have to distance himself from the urine or for the excrement in order to say Kriya Shema or Tefillah? Arba amos. He has to distance himself away 4 amos. According to most Rishonim, it would seem that a person has to distance himself 4 amos, not just from the location of the urine or the excrement, but from the point at which the odor of the urine or the excrement stops. So you have to go far enough away that you can't smell it, and then you have to distance yourself another arba amos. The Mefarshim also say that this is only true if the urine or the excrement is either to your sides or behind you. If, on the other hand, it's in front of you where you can see it, then it's not enough to distance yourself 4 amos. Then you have to distance yourself far enough away so that you cannot see it. Again, this is all based on the pasuk V'haya machanecha kadosh. We have to realize that when we daven, when we say Torah, when we say Kriya Shema, when we want to make a bracha, these are mili shebikdusha. These are words that have sanctity, and our environment matters. We have to say these things in a clean environment, in a place that's worthy of having such things said. The Torah is real. The words of Kriya Shema, the words of Tefillah have a kedusha. They are sanctified. They're holy. We have to make sure that we say them in a proper area. Thank you so much for joining me for the learning of this Mishnah. I hope you will continue to join me for the learning of many, many more Mishnayos to come. Have a wonderful day. Be well.